Let me tell you, it is a big, big world out there. But let's go to some fundamentals first. The high growth rates are not in the United States. And curiously, they're in the developing countries, which we tend to ignore and tend to look down upon. But Europe and the United States have rather slow growth rates, while the real growth rates are in Asia, in China, in the developing countries, the Indonesia, the little dragons, as they call them, the Koreas and the Singapores and Taiwans. That today is the fastest growing market region of the world, and there is where some of the biggest opportunities are. And coming right along behind it is that whole area of what used to be the Soviet Union and the emerging nations in that region. And then finally look at Africa, a huge continent in ferment, which is going to provide tremendous business opportunities down the road. To say nothing of Latin America and the potential which the NAFTA agreement gives to all of American business. What are some of the benefits that you get from being in the international marketplace? Take our own company, Texas Instruments. We're primarily a semiconductor company. Nearly 70% of the whole market in the world for these little chips is outside the United States. And it's growing faster in those regions of Asia that I mentioned before than it is in the United States today. So in our business, where costs are a function of the volume of your production, if you aren't competing in the whole global world, folks, you ain't in business today. You can't compete unless you compete in the global world.
Many companies are taking advantage of global changes by expanding their markets overseas. About 95% of the world's population lives outside of the United States. And that's a lot of additional people to drink Coca-Cola. Because of lower production costs, some companies go overseas to increase profits. There are also benefits in acquiring raw materials that might be limited or unavailable in the United States, or obtaining technology that is less costly or of higher quality than is available locally. In general, companies enter the global marketplace to exploit two kinds of advantages. One is a comparative advantage. The other is an absolute advantage.
A country that is better off in one respect than another with production of a product, that country has an absolute advantage over the others. I think a good example there of this absolute advantage is, you know, if Brazil is the best place in the world to grow coffee, they clearly have an absolute advantage in the coffee business. If South Africa has the only place where there are diamonds, even if they're, 5,000 feet deep in the earth, okay, that's an absolute advantage in the diamond business. Comparative advantage is being able to produce a product better in some way, more efficiently in some way, and bring it to the marketplace better than someone else. Technology can give you an advantage if you know how to do something a little bit better, or cheaper, or faster, or quicker, or more cleverly than someone else. That's a comparative advantage. In so many areas today, marketing is a key factor. And maybe you've got a brand name that everybody knows in the world.